The bridge across the river needs repairs, the Fat Controller told the engines. Shall have to make a weight limit across it for a while. Percy and Daisy will be all right, and Toby too, but Thomas is too heavy. Thomas looked anxious. Would you like to help Edward? Suggested the Fat Controller. Can Annie and Clarabelle come? Asked Thomas. The Fat Controller shook his head. They will be needed here, I'm afraid, he said. You know, Daisy can't carry all the passengers on her own. Percy promised to look after Annie and Clarabelle, but they were sorry to see Thomas go. To cheer Thomas up, Edward took him to see Bill and Ben, the twin engines that lived at the China Clay Harbour. Oh dear, another blue engine, Bill said cheekily. First Edward, then Donald and Douglas, and now don't forget Gordon, interrupted Ben. He came here once by mistake, so he said. I don't think he enjoyed it much, he added ingeniously. Both the twins chuckled, remembering. No, but seriously, Edward, said Bill. Why doesn't he use the paint the engine in a proper color, like us, for instance? Thomas let off steam indignantly. Let me tell you, he began. All right, you two, laughed Edward. Go and move those trucks, or there won't be any room for more. Bill and Ben, unabashed, went off happily. You just don't have to take them too seriously, explained Edward. Thomas smiled. I wish I knew how to deal with them, he said. Near the harbour, the line crossed the lane. The crossing had no gates. The lane led to a farm which supplied food to the shops in town. One morning, the farmer had difficulty starting his lorry. He did it at last, but the lorry jerked along in fits and starts. The farmer was worried about his load of milk and butter and eggs. Oh, the day for milk will become butter soon, he muttered to himself as he neared the level crossing. The lorry lurched across the rails. The back wheels were just clear when its engine made a noise like a tired sheep and stopped. The back of the lorry was still on the railway line. The farmer struggled to get the lorry started again, but it would not go. He had just gone down to telephone for help when he heard a train approaching. Thomas wasn't going fast. When he saw the lorry, he set his brakes hard, but he couldn't stop and hit the lorry with a loud crash. The force of the blow spun the lorry around. Splintered wood flew everywhere, and eggs, butter, and milk were smeared all over Thomas. "Ugh!" he exclaimed and stopped. "And look at my poor lorry," said the farmer, coming out from behind a hedge where he had been sheltering. "What a way to make an omelette!" The driver made sure that Thomas wasn't hurt. Then he stood back and surveyed the mess. He began to laugh. "It's not funny," said Thomas crossly. An egg yolk trickled down his nose and burst on his buffers. "You're not standing where I am," said his driver. "You look like a scrambled egg, Thomas." "If a scrambled egg feels as sticky as wet as I do, then it's very uncomfortable," said Thomas. "Please clean me." Both his driver and his fireman tried hard, but the heat of Thomas's boiler had cooked the eggs and they were stuck. "Sorry, Thomas," said his driver at last. "We can't block the line for any longer. We shall have to go now." At the end of the line, Thomas was taken to Bill and Ben's yard to be cleaned. The twins were there. "What's that?" asked Ben. "It must be a new engine," said Bill. Ben inspected the arrival. "No, Bill," he said. "It's not a new engine, it's Thomas." "But he's in our color, Ben, and Thomas doesn't think our color is proper for an engine." They heard a grounding noise. "Are your joints stiff, Bill?" asked Ben. But it wasn't Bill's joints. It was Thomas gashing his teeth.